Hello everyone, I'm Gyaldin and I teach economics. So, my objective of making this video and a couple of videos more to come is to address those conceptually and technically dense topics, especially in cluster and economics and economic applications, as well as in cluster. Okay, my reference is going to be Goyal publications. So, if you have the book, that's well and fine. Otherwise, it's okay. Okay, because what I'm going to write down or what I'm going to tell you, you may not be able to, replicate it in your exam papers. What I'm going to do is provide you with clarity, okay, when it comes to these certain topics. Fine. So today what we're going to discuss is we're going to discuss elasticity, the concept of elasticity, more specifically elasticity of demand. Okay. And I think that's chapter 2 when it comes to Goyal publications. Okay, right. So what we're going to discuss today is elasticity of demand. Okay, now to understand elasticity of demand, no, you'll have to first go back to your law of demand. Okay, a law of demand le amle ki banya, certain things remaining constant. Okay, certain factors which affect demand, those factors remaining constant. When your prices increases, your demand decreases. त्यति त भन्यो होइन. In other words, what it just gave us was the directional relationship. Okay, or the inverse relationship. Okay, that is all that they gave us. But when you're talking about elasticity of demand, elasticity goes a step further and it addresses the quantitative aspect. Okay, what do I mean by quantitative aspect is it addresses that कतिले. ओके, कतिले भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ अब कतिले प्राइस इन्क्रिज हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ कतिले चाहिँ डिमान्ड गर्दो रहेछ हौ, because that is a legitimate question to ask. No, law demand is saying prices in when prices are increasing, demand is decreasing. But then you might think, no, like कतिले प्राइस इन्क्रिज हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ कतिले चाहिँ गर्दो रहेछ हौ. That's a logical question to ask, and that is being addressed by elasticity of demand. Okay, त्यति हो इलास्टिसिटी अफ डिमान्डको कन्सेप्ट है, त्यति हो. ओके, it it answers that very crucial question of by how much. Okay, by how much. Cool. Now first let's discuss about what exactly is elasticity. Okay, अब elasticity भनेको चाहिँ के हो? So elasticity, no, it's nothing, it is just responsiveness of one variable to a change in another variable. Okay, now what do I mean by this? Responsiveness of one variable to a change in another variable. Now भर्खर मात्रै मैले के भने भन्दाखेरि इलास्टिसिटी अफ डिमान्डले चाहिँ के भन्छ भन्दाखेरि, okay, let's just take price elasticity of demand. Okay, so when you're talking about price elasticity of demand, no, what we are looking at is how is my demand, okay, how is my demand responding, okay, by how much, sorry, by how much muse is just wait, this became a little bit messy. Okay, so elasticity, price elasticity of demand basically talks about by how much, okay, is my demand responding to a change in price. ओके बिकज ल अफ डिमान्डले हामीले के भन्यो ल अफ डिमान्डले भन्यो जब प्राइसेस इन्क्रिज हुन्छ डिमान्ड घट्छ राइट अब इलास्टिसिटीले के भन्दैछ इलास्टिसिटी इज टेलिङ अस कतिले कतिले प्राइस इन्क्रिज हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ कतिले चाहिँ हाम्रो डिमान्ड गर्दैछ त्यति मात्रै हो यो कन्सेप्टै यति हो ओके राइट सो आई होप यु गेट इट ओके इलास्टिसिटी भन्नुको चाहिँ मतलब चाहिँ के मात्रै हो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ इट जस्ट टक्स अबाउट द रेस्पोन्सिभनेस ओके रेस्पोन्सिभनेस अफ वान भेरिएबल टु अ चेन्ज in another variable. Okay, and now if you have to talk about, if for example, if you're taking, if those two variables you're taking to be demand and prices, you're saying by how much is my demand responding to changes in price. That is all you're saying. Elasticity of demand is there. Okay, now there are different measures to elasticity. Okay, fine. Measures to elasticity. Measures to elasticity, the most famous one is, at least what your book uses, the first one is the percentage method. Okay, the percentage method, right? So what this method does is it calculates the percentage change in quantity demanded to percentage change in prices. Okay, so percentage method just sees what is the percentage change. Okay, percentage change in quantity demanded to percentage change in prices. Okay, now I'll get into all these two. A percentage change, right? कति पर्सेन्टले चेन्ज भयो है now to give you a brief understanding of what exactly this is, so if your marks was 50, let's say this if your marks was 50 and suddenly next semester you got 100, okay, so by how much percentage has your marks changed? 100%, right? So percentage change, basically how do you calculate that percentage change is your final value, okay, minus your initial value upon your initial value. Okay, this is the percentage method. Wait, I'll just put it here because it applies for both of these two. Okay, so final value minus initial value upon initial value. So when you're talking about percentage change in quantity demanded, what you're saying is when your prices changed, okay, what was your final value? Okay, you're looking at Q2, you're looking at the new change in demand. Okay, you're looking at the new demand that has come about, okay, to in response to a price change. Okay, see Q2 here is the new demand that has come about because your prices changed in response to your change in prices. Okay, Q2 minus Q1 upon Q1, and this will give you the percentage change in quantity demanded. Okay, this is the percentage change. Here percentage change in price is P2 minus P1 upon P1. Fine. Again, P2 is what के भयो तिम्रो प्राइस चेन्ज भयो नि त हैन त्यो चेन्ज भएर कति भयो त्यो कति त्यो चेन्ज भएको प्राइस इज P2. ओके, अब कहाँबाट चेन्ज भयो त्यो इनिसियल प्राइस कुन चाहिँ हो त्यो, द्याट इज योर P1. ओके, Q2 पनि, वाट इज Q2 इज जब तिम्रो डिमान्ड चेन्ज भयो. ओके, your demand changed because in response to your change in prices. So that changed demand is your Q2. And कहाँबाट change भयो? Okay, the starting point कुन level थियो त्यो, that is your Q1. Okay, so if you do this small, if you solve this, so then what you get is percentage change in quantity demanded to percentage change in price. Okay, so percentage method, if you have to do is elasticity of demand, price elasticity of demand is your percentage change in quantity demanded to percentage change in your prices. Okay, so this is your percentage method. Fine, right? Now look at this. Okay, this is your price elasticity of demand. Okay, now price elasticity of demand, in other words you can understand it this way. Okay, यो चाहिँ लेम्यान रुडिमेन्ट्री पाराले बुझाएकै मैले. ओके, प्राइस इलास्टिसिटी अफ डिमान्ड है, बेसिकली what it tells you is when prices are changing, what is the degree response of, or what is the responsiveness of the demand. Okay, so in other words, if there is a question which is asked, income elasticity of demand, then it means when your income is changing, okay, then how is your demand responding to it. Okay, or in other words, the degree of responsiveness of demand to changes in income. Okay, or percentage change in quantity demanded upon percentage change in income, that is your income elasticity of demand or price elasticity of demand. You can play around with those definitions that way. Okay, so percentage method is this. We'll do a short small numerical for you to better grasp this topic. Okay, so let's say fine, we'll take prices and we'll take Oreos. Okay, we'll take prices and we'll take Oreo. So let's say when price of Oreo is 10, people were taking 100, people buying 100 of these Oreo biscuits. Okay, so when prices changed to 15, let's say people decreased their demand to 60. Okay, fair enough. This is your demand schedule. Okay, so now look at this. Let's calculate first your percentage change. Okay, this is a symbol of change. Okay, percentage change in quantity demanded. Okay, just hold on. Percentage change in quantity demanded. Okay, अब त्यो कसरी गर्छ, Q2 minus Q1 upon Q1, right? So what is Q2? Now Q2 is this. Why? Because when your prices changed from 10 to 15, your demand responded by a decrease from 100 to 60. So your Q2 becomes 60, because finally, now when the prices have changed, finally it is settled at 60, right? So your Q2 becomes 60 minus 100. 100 is, yeah, divided upon Q1, that is 100. So how much is this coming to? This is coming to minus 40 upon 100. Okay. Now this minus is showing the direction. Okay, it is showing you the direction in which the demand is moving. Okay, it is moving opposite to your price. That's why you have a minus sign out here. Okay, so percentage change in prices. Percentage change in prices very costly calculated again. P2 minus P1 divided by P1. Okay, अब यो P2 के भयो यहाँनिर? P2 भयो तिम्रो 15, किनकि प्राइस चेन्ज भएर चाहिँ 15 मा आइपुग्यो नि त हैन. So 15 minus P1 is 10 upon 10. Okay, so this becomes minus, no sorry, this is plus only 5 upon 10. Okay, so how do you calculate your elasticity of demand? It is the percentage change in quantity demanded to percentage change in prices, right? So what is your percentage change in quantity demanded? It is minus 40 upon 100. That is what you have found. And what is your percentage change in prices? It's 5 upon 10. So when you try and solve this, you get minus 40 upon 100 into 10 upon 5. So you do this, and you are left with minus 4 upon 5. Okay, and which is coming to minus 0.8. So price elasticity of demand is negative 0.8. Okay, now see, you do not when you're talking about elasticity, you don't factor in this sign. Okay, at last what you write is just the value, that is 0.8. Okay, now what this means and how this fits into the larger context, we will talk about this in the next class. Okay.